Test. All right. Howdy, folks. My name's Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started this channel. I started turning this therapy for PTSD, and I fell in love with it. Found out I had a knack for turning, and then I found that I really enjoyed teaching it. So I started this channel to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher. To help turners of all skill levels improve their tool control, tool skills, maybe bring something new to you that you hadn't considered before. At the same time as I'm reiterating these things that I do and explaining it, it cements it in my own head, and that's another reason why I started this channel, so that I also can become a better turner. I really enjoy watching other turners, and I ask lots of questions about their process, because it's not necessarily important to me what it is they're turning, but how they're doing it. That's more my gig. Let me grab this. I think that this camera might have a little bit of film over it. A little bit of haze. Could also be this dude. All right, so anyway, welcome to the channel. Please show your support by following the channel. That helps the algorithms, get it out in front of more people. I want to reach as many people as possible. Let's get down to this little dude here. So I made kind of a larger size Kuksa cup for myself some time ago, and I was just drinking out of it, thinking, hey man, maybe I should make a lid for it. And then I got to thinking, well, maybe I should make another cup too. And it turns out I have this offcut of maple burl that might make a decent cup. So I figured I'd walk through how we're going to get that out of this piece of offcut burl, and go from there. So first thing I want to look at is like where the most of the mass is. Normally I try to start off on the balance point, and I see that most of the mass is going to be down this way, which might actually help me out, because so as we're looking at this, maybe I should point this camera down, and we'll just go to this camera. Something like that. Let's get rid of this light as well. There, that helps. All right, so it was kind of cut at an angle, so I've got, actually, I can come back from this edge. It's fairly thick here, and that carries through a little way, but not terribly far. So I got to take some measurements, but I do know I got a pretty good feel that most of the weight's going to be down this way, and I want to work in the thicker part anyway, because I want to leave myself a rim that I can carve away so I can have a handle on it. So I'm going to be turning this in two different axes, and it's going to start off as a winged vessel, and then I'll carve away most of that wing to create a handle. So I grab my ruler here. So if I look at this edge right here, it slopes in, so I can use a lot of the thickness of this piece of timber in that area. My cup is looks like it's going to be, I'm going to say in here, the actual cup itself, somewhere in here. So we'll kind of try to anyway draw sort of a half-ass line here, get an idea. All right, so that's going to be the cup, which means the rest of this around that is going to be, or that's the general area. It might shift one way or the other, probably this way, a little bit just because of the mass of the piece, and then I may want to shift. I mean, we're already going to be on 2 axes. That's not going to take much to go to 3 and make a foot down in here. But I've got, as I said, this much material to have a cup in and still have a rim. So first thing, well, hold on a second. So it looks like at this point, what is that, 3.5 inches? And 3.5 inches here is right there. So I'm going to say I probably have more like 3 inches this way. So that's going to be, 2.5 inch to maybe 2 3/4 inch cup, maybe a little bit bigger. We'll see. But basically, that's where that thickness kind of just goes away. I'm still curving up the side here, looking at this as more of a curve for the cup. I can shift it this way a little bit and still be within timber that would be part of the actual cup itself. So I'm just going to say that's about to start where this is going to be, is in this area. And I'm also guessing that, well, that might be the center. So we'll see. Let's see what happens here. Just going to try that spot and see how that works out. Oh yeah, this is hardwood. So let's give myself a little bit of a dimple to start with. Move these out of the way. And we'll see how close this is to the balance point. I think it's going to be somewhere in this area. That surprises me. Okay. Let's bring it up then. Oops. Still heavy in the bottom. I don't feel like it's kind of floating free. There we go. So that looks close enough to me. So let's really mark that. Now I want to take it off and see. So that'll give me, almost 4 inches round and in a really good spot. So we'll start there. And it was pretty close to where I had marked, which is interesting, if not lucky. Let me pencil line this to that one. So let's make sure this is as secure as we can get it. I do eventually want to have this in a chuck. It's on its balance point now, but it will become unbalanced. And this wood is so hard that I think I would have a better hold than doing a lot of it between centers. So I'm just going to round this out now and see what we get. Let's make sure this all clears. I may have to, you know what, I'll just do that now. Replace the tool rest. I think, I can't remember, this one probably doesn't go low enough, does it? Nope. Forgot. Okay, let's then grab, well, I don't want to grab that guy. How about the center rest? The other center rest. This will work. So I like to have, in my case, where the centers meet is pretty much just a little bit below elbow height. You want it in the area of elbow height, the tailstock and where the centers meet. It would probably be directly at elbow height, but I've got a couple of pads on the floor because this is an unheated shop in the winter. And I want something on this concrete to help alleviate some of that cold seeping up. So when you originally set up your lathe, you pretty much want to have it where the centers meet at elbow height. So it's much more comfortable already to start working. You don't have to put yourself in a weird, awkward position to raise up or lower down. You know, unless you're moving the tool rest to make it so. But when you start off or when you have your lathe set up, that's really where you want it. So this is burl. And that all clears. All right. Glass is down. What am I sitting at? 400? Yeah, it's good enough for now. Well, you know what? Let's move stuff that's going to shake itself off of the lathe just in case there is a little bit of vibration. That includes those. So pretty much on its balance point, that works for me. So you can see, no you can't. Let me do this. So you can see I'm fairly far off the tool rest here. Don't do things you're not comfortable with. I recommend people who don't have a whole lot of experience or are really new to turning to keep your tool rest fairly close because you want the force of where you're cutting to go down into the tool rest and not into your body. But you can work that further out from the tool rest. It just requires some subtle shifts and things that you pick up as you go. So to start with, you really want to keep your material fairly close to the tool rest until you're comfortable or reaching out a little bit further. I don't normally keep a death grip on my tool, but that steel was starting to rotate. All right, let's take a look here. So I still think that looks okay as far as looking down above onto this mass here. A lot of this is going to go away when I make the wing that I can carve into a handle. And the nice thing is like with doing this on multi-axis, I can make a round ring, and then I can place the piece wherever I want if I want to pick up grain, and we'll go over that as I go through it. But wherever I want to recenter it and then make the cup, and then what I carve away, then it's more of an oval shape, or it's off center, off center cup within a larger circle, so I can use that whatever feature as the handle feature. So it's okay to turn at slower speeds. There's no reason that you can't. You just have to remember that your feed rate should only be as fast as the tool can cut. So I'm turning at the slowest speed my lathe can go. Not really necessary. I just usually start slower when I have, like, what looks like a larger lobe, just to make sure that I don't induce too much vibration at the beginning, because vibration is a big deal. I want to try to eliminate as much of that as possible. So I'm getting closer. I know the rim is going to be, well, at least the outer ring part is going to be right there. So I'm getting closer. This looks like a nice shape for making that wing too. All right, so I want to check something out, because it's burl wood, right? So the grain's going all over the place, but in some places here, it's also layered burl. It's not that really interwoven bird's eye, and so I've got layered burl here, and I'm getting just a little bit of tear out, and it could be because there's such a gap between, it has to go a full 360 degrees before it makes contact again. That could be it, but I want to go this direction and see if that clears any of that up. I did like the sound of that cut. That was a nice sound. Yeah. Well, no, and then I got some tear out on the other end. So the grain, yeah, but only on this side. So there's a little bit of grain that's kind of backwards from this grain. So anyway, I guess it's half a dozen of one and 6 of the other, because most of that's going to get turned away anyway. I just like to leave as good a finish as I can get on a piece when I turn it. It's all about tool control. Getting that muscle memory built in. Okay, so I'm inching into that being the rim. Still cutting a lot of air back here. Okay, a little bit more and we'll be, well, now hold on, let's take another look here, because it looks like I might be able to tilt this a little bit. Well, I'm going to want the cup in here. Well, let me take some of that off to make it a little bit easier to move my tail center around. Live center. I'll get the lingo correct sooner or later. All right, so that's all going to clear. too low. I'll be, I am just a wee bit low. There we go. Okay, that'll make it a little bit easier. Let me clear that off. Yeah, that'll make it a little bit easier to move this direction. Okay. I think, let's see if I tilt this down this way. Alright, let's take a look at this again. We've got, now we can see that most of the mass is going to be right in here. And that's actually further out this way. We'll call it that. And I want to say that's 4 inches. That's a decent sized cup on the inside, 3.5. That's not bad. Okay. So we're off here. And the center line for that would be what exactly? 3 3/4. So that makes it 1 7/8. And we'll call that somewhere near the center right there. Let's see, I set the punch over on this side. So go ahead and punch that spot. You know, I really do need to measure this guy. So if I am at, and we'll say that's close enough to round to merit starting right at the center. So I need to make the wing, which means I need to flatten everything out. So you know what, I'll do that first. Something I probably already should have. Go back to center here. I think I still do want to bring it this way a bit to get more of a flat contact against the drive center. I think. Nice and secure. Still a wee bit low. I personally like to have my tool rest, and this is after, you know, a lot of practice and getting used to where I like the tool to hit compared to where my body's at. For everybody, it's different, something you have to pick up on your own. I like to have my tool rest where the handle of my tool, the tool itself, is parallel to the floor, and my where I'm going to be cutting on the edge is pretty much centered. Sometimes I'll go a little bit lower than that depending on how much room I may or may not have to swing my handle when it's the bowl gouge. But I do like to use the bowl gouge to do most of the hogging off of material, because it's just a really nice workhorse. It does so much more than just sit and be a bowl gouge, right? All right, let's get this guy set up. So I want to start working. Oh, that's going to clear. So I want to start working a wing into this right now. You know what? Before I do that, though, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to establish this face. And I don't have to go all the way into the piece. I just need to have the actual face that I'm going to use to be the cleanest surface and lower than what is being held by the drive center. That's not tight enough. It cannot be shifting. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and speed her up. That looks about right. Not coming at it at the right angle. There we go. So I just need to go in. Well, then we'll just do it this way. Apparently the grain likes that better. So this face is lower than this here. I can leave this be now and start working on this side. So I know what my thickness is going to be because I have a more or less finished surface here. Let's see if this is going to be the same here. So it's not going to have a really huge handle, but it is definitely going to be wider than that. See, now looking at this, you can see more of the mass is up towards this side. So when I change centers, I'll shift the whole piece this way to make more use of this thicker stuff for the bowl, but also give it more room on this back side to carve that handle. Let's see. Well, all right. Hear the difference in the quality of cut. This is the way the wood wants to be cut. This is why I don't have music playing for me usually in the background. I want to hear this kind of stuff. Tells me if my cut's going well. Tells me how if I'm working with the wood as opposed to against it. Okay, so since this is all going to shift this direction, I'm not going to worry about this part, this chainsaw cut part any longer, because everything's going to shift this way. And that's all going to be carved off anyway to create a rim. And then back in here is where the handle will be. So I can go a little bit further. Well, let's measure this. We'll say that's, I'm going to eyeball the center there and work out to this rim out here. And that tells me that I am about 2.5 inches. I could do it this way. So that's about 2.5 inches. So if I shift this way 1/2 inch, which would be a little bit more than this, then that will all disappear. I won't have to worry about that. Okay, so that, I hope I'm not rambling too much. I'm going through, let me slow this way down. I'm looking at where I believe the mass of the cup is going to be more naturally formed. Like it wouldn't be here because the thickness changes so dramatically. Here, though, it doesn't, and it's pretty pretty similar. And even on the sides here, I've got similar kind of angles, so I can make a cup. You know, even shifting this way, I've got plenty of material right in here to make a cup out of it. So having that run through my head, I was adjusting the piece to see which direction it's going to go to make the most use of the mass to make the cup out of. And it turns out it's in the direction of this chainsaw cut right here. So I will be moving the whole piece to a different center, about 1/2 inch that way. And then my mind jumped to, okay, let's double check how wide is this rim so far, and it is just under 1/2 inch. So I'm going to make this a 1/2 inch rim, and then actually probably a little bit more. I'm probably going to do 5/8 because I want a little bit of a lip on the outside of the cup. But I will still only move the whole piece 1/2 inch in this direction. So it'll give me that little bit. I won't really have to carve away much on this side. That lip will be there. I'll just probably have to do a little bit of sanding, perhaps, to blend it in a little bit better. More of the carving will be back on the sides and the back here, where it will be, since I've moved that way, that wing will gain another 1/2 inch. So that'll be about 1 inch or so long for a handle. So jumping through my head real quick, that's where I went to look at the mass. All right, cool. I'm going to have to move it this way. How far can I go? Measure things out 1/2 inch. Okay, cool. So that means I got to check this. And that's how it works in my head sometimes. So I think that's right on. Don't have enough of the right kind of light here. So that is really close to 5/8. I'll take it down a little bit more. You know what? No, I'll just leave it. Do I need to make this side match? I do not. This is going to get turned away anyway, most likely. So I don't need to do anything on this side to match the edge here, is what I'm thinking in my head. Because usually when I'm making a wing form, the wing bisects it somewhere. And where those edges go or bisected, they have to be really, I go for dead on, but they have to be really close to each other, or it looks kind of off when you look at it edge on. You see, like I'm looking at it this way, and actually I believe you can too, going down this way, that this surface here sticks out further than this surface. So normally I would want, if I was keeping that as a rim, I would want to bring this down to that level and have them match so that it looks like it just bisects it right through. So it doesn't look odd and weird. All right, so that's where we're at with the wing. I know I'm moving towards the chainsaw curve here in that direction, and I want to cut this in half just to be about the halfway mark there. Just to, try to minimize the amount of things that I've got to carve away, because this is really hard wood. The edge of the cup should come really close to where this would be when it's turned away or carved away, and I won't have to do that much over here. That's the plan. We'll see how that works out. All right, so I need to move 1/2 inch in this direction. So we'll just mark that out since we have determined that I should draw this line. So we've determined that that's our spot, and that will give me grab the ruler again. So I'm 1/2 inch down. That will give me 2.5 inches or so of a cup. 2.5 inches or so. That's not a bad, I mean, you don't. Most Cooks cups are kind of small, meant to be carried around the neck, I guess. From what I have learned about them, canoe trip, stuff like that. Dip it into the water to get it, a mouthful of water to drink. Things like that. You have your own personal cup. Let's mark this side, and it's not bulky. It's hanging from your neck. It's not getting away. It doesn't require a hand to hold it. All that. This is what I've gleaned so far, and usually they're hand carved though. So I do believe it's Mike Mahoney. I need to mark that. He started turning Kuksa cups a few years back, and I say a few, but my time sense is kind of shot. But some while back, he started turning those. I think it was Mike Mahoney. It could have been Trent Bosch. I'll have to look that up again. And that kind of caught my interest, so I figured, hey, let me throw something on the lathe and see about turning that into a Kuksa cup. And I used a piece of maple burl for that one, and I've been using it for several years as a water cup. And I got to tell you, man, it's nice to just have that cup. It's a little bit too big to, I guess. Well, I mean, I wouldn't if I put a landing on it. I could still carry it around my neck, but it's a cup with a 4-inch wide mouth to get more than just a sip of water. I drink a lot of water. All right. So now we've changed the center of this dude. And I'm going to, this is introducing vibration. Come on. This is going to introduce vibration to the piece, because now it's off center. But because most of the mass is right here, it's not going to be too bad. But I'm going to be turning all of that away. So I may, well, not all of it, but a lot of it. So I'm going to start working my bowl shape this way. With burl wood. And this is one of the reasons why I kind of check. I don't know, I kind of do that with all the timbers that I work with now. They tend to have a direction that they prefer to be cut in more than another. You call that follow the grain or whatever you like. It's the grain, and in some trees, the grain can switch back on you, and then all of a sudden it's no longer the right direction. With burl, it happens. It's intermingled so much that usually it doesn't matter, but I'm also working with layered burl. So even though it's a lot harder material, I want to go where the grain is supported to get a better cut. So we are off balance here. And to be honest, I don't even think we're straight on anymore. Let me make a small adjustment here. Would that be it? Nope, wrong direction. Would that be it? That looks like that would be a lot closer. Let's see. So I want to make sure, at least so far as I can, so that is this. I need to go this way just a bit. That my rim now is going to be traveling in a parallel direction as opposed to, you know, wobbly, because I don't want to have to take too much off this guy coming at it from underneath. That will give me more to play with. I kind of want to undercut it a little bit too, to make a bit of a bump here, so when I carve that away, I'll have a little bit of a finger hook that I'm going to carve into two bubbles, I guess, if you will, so that they're bisected, because for me that's pretty comfortable. So I want this coming around. As close to parallel as I can get. Let's try that. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'll take it. And I've got a really good hold on it. All right, so I'm going to start working. It's going to jiggle a little bit again because, let me move this camera up a tad. Oops, and not loosen it. Might be too far. It's about center. That'll work. So I'm going to start working the bowl shape here. Now, there's pretty much 4 cuts you can make: a push cut, pull cut, a scrape, and a shear scrape. That's pretty much with the gouge what you can do. What I am doing is a pull cut. A pull cut pretty much is classified that this tool steel itself is leading the cut and the handle is lagging behind. So even though I'm pulling it to me, that's not what makes it a pull cut. Is what's making it a pull cut is that the flute and the handle set up that the cutting edge is in front of the handle and leading the cut. All right, that's starting to look really nice. I got the handle's going to be, at least in theory, I'm going to capture both the white wood and the darker wood of the burl in the handle. So that will be nice. If I look at this way, it'll be come in right about in there. So I'll capture that stuff. So that'll be cool. All right. You know, that's gonna be a decent sized cup. That's not. Let's keep going. It's a little bit easier depending on where you're at in the on the lathe. I needed the handle to be way back here, so I can't get on the other side of the handle in between the tailstock and the tool. So pulling it from this side just makes more sense. And then when I get to a spot, say here, where the handle is out far enough, I can choose to come back around. Right here can see the ghosting as it comes around with the light sources that I've got available. Okay, so I can work this down a little bit more, but I want to take this in a bit. You can pick your poison, what you want to use, bowl gouge, scrapers, it doesn't matter, spindle gouges, it doesn't really matter if it gets the job done for you. Learn to use that tool better. So right now I'm thinking about shape and where I'm going to put the hold for the chuck. And I'm also at this point doing a pull cut where the handle is in front, it's leading the cutting edge. I will transition into a push cut as I get around right there. And then a bit of a scrape. Make a bit of a rounded edge there, just rough it out. All right, so I can put my chuck right on this guy. And in turn, that can become the beginning of the foot. So plenty of material to hang on there. I'll take it a little bit deeper there just to be sure. Don't necessarily need a foot per se for the cup, but maybe I do. Last one I made got one. So I'm going to leave that shoulder there so that it's flat, and that flat shoulder here can sit against the faces of the jaws. Flat, and then the bevel edges can go into that bevel there. I don't want to take that all the way away yet, but I can still play with the shape of the cup. So let's just take a look at this. I've got what looks like, well, that's that saw edge. I could leave that. It's not harming anything, and it kind of adds a little bit to, especially it being on the opposite side of where the handle is. Let's just see how it comes out. I'm just doing a series of really fine pull cuts across the surface. Transitioning into a push cut. And I'm going to turn this overhead light on because I'm in areas that I need more light. And do I want to make it rounder? I want to take that off for sure. So let's flip this guy around. One of the main reasons I like this center tool rest, I believe it was meant for, or it was designed for finial work, and it does great for that because you've got this whole rest sticking all the way out along the finial, and you can get really close to the headstock. But I also like it for this because I can get really close in on the back or front side, mostly the back side here, sometimes the front side, depending on how much space I've got in there. But being able to float this around and have this this whole surface here, or this whole tool rest, there we go, available to you is really nice. So that's all going to clear. How do I want to do this? Well, let's grab the 1/2-inch spindle guides. And then I'll just clean this up. So this is mostly going to go away then. Still giving me some vibration. So there's a little bit there. I think that'll be a different, nice little contrast. I want to try to leave that. Clean that up some. All right, now I think I can clean all this up. And let's make that little groove. So for that, oops. For that, we are not gonna, yeah, we are. Okay. Nice start. I think I will bring out my little round nose scraper. Maybe. That up a little bit. Put a little bit of minor scraping here. I think I can bring that out a little bit. Let's see, I can actually take it even in deeper too. So I will. And I do believe I will rely on this guy. So let's raise the tool rest a bit. All right, move the banjo, because this is a scraper, so you want the burr that's on it to be contacting the material at less than a 90-degree angle. So if it was parallel to the piece and making contact, that'd be 90 degrees, and anything up in there, you start getting into catch territory. I want to be less than 90 degrees to avoid all that and to primarily be contacting that burr in the first place. So I bring my tail rest, or my tool rest up, so that I am at a place where my handle is actually lifted up and this cutting edge is at center, down below. Much safer cut this way. And I can eliminate a ton of sanding. So I'm looking at the depth of the groove because it's coming through here. It's not coming through out here because this is that original thickness. This is what I want to leave to carve those two little humps in there with. And I think I will go, I'll go a little bit deeper. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It gives, it doesn't have to be something I got to have a death grip on. I just want to be able to rest my finger and thumb there to hold it like a cup. So we're all set there. I'll have to carve this away unless I take that in. So so what I'm talking about is this little ridge right here. I either have to carve that away or turn it away now. So I choose to turn it away now and just take away a little bit more of this sweeping curve. We'll have more of a straight-sided bowl shape that way in the end, but then I won't have to carve all this away since I already have a lot of this to carve away as it is. So that did not clear. I saw it move my tool rest, and my tool rest wasn't tight to begin with. There we go. Okay, so that got rid of that. You heard a little bit of clicking. There's a small void in the area that I'm scraping. and part of it was catching on the burr. See what that looks like. Make sure I'm not leaving tool marks. I could do a little bit better. Something like that. Just really like cuts, pull these kind of shavings off. Don't have to attack it. We're just trying to refine the surface so I can limit the amount of sanding I've got to do. And I've limited it pretty well. So I want to be sure that, that looks like a mighty fine bowl shape to me. I'm just going to slightly adjust the curve on this guy. So once again, do what you are comfortable with. You see, I'm not just the tool that's way off the tool rest, it was me as well. See, I've got to swing that handle all the way around to keep that cutting edge in the right spot. You can do this with a spindle gauge too, and not have to move the handle so far. I kind of think it's like Pokemon, man. Got to practice them all. Okay, so I can start actually sanding that. I'm going to round. Ooh, am I going to round that over? No, I'm not. That's going to get carved away by quite a bit. So there's that void I was talking about. And I see there's a bark inclusion there. So we'll see if this is a... Well, maybe I should fill those in now, hey? Yeah, I think I will. I think I should fill them in now. Let's clean this guy. Oh, no, I don't want to clean him out. I want to leave the bark in there. So I'll blow that out. What can I clean out of here? Nada. All right, so got to step inside to grab the CA glue and accelerant. There's CA glue. Where'd you put the can of Speeder Ripper stuff? Nope, behind me. All right, let's see. I believe I've got some more or less bark colored sawdust over here somewhere. There it is. I like to use walnut. I think sometimes does really well with this too. Coffee grounds, I understand, work really well, and they kind of look like bark. I took a coffee grinder and ground up. I dried the inner bark, and then I took a coffee grinder and ground that stuff up bit by bit to have some actual bark sawdust. Yeah, it's kind of overkill because I learned much later that, oh yeah, you can use coffee grounds. Oh well, all right, I don't. But you know, you learn as you go, right? It's a journey for me too, man. It's a journey for me too. See how well, whoops, I can control that. Not so great that time. Okay, let's not stick to Dave. All right, let's put a wee bit more in there. What I like to do is to try to really push it and grind it in with my finger or thumb while the glue is still wet to kind of pack more in there. Don't need a lot. The CA glue is going to kind of plasticize it, and then it will seal that so that if it is exposed on the inside, it won't leak through the outside. Oops, that was too much. And try not to get any of it on my fingers. I probably should wear gloves, but we're done now. So by the time I get this glue over to this side of the shop, that will probably have set up on its own, but I'm still going to get it with a shot of this. And I believe I've got some 220 over here. Yes, I do. You know what that is? Yes. That is not. Okay. So we'll slow down and whoops. Put on the mask. Not be silly about this. I don't know that this is true. I believe it's a possibility because at least what little I know of the way the human body works, you can build up toxicities to things. Having too much of it in your system that impedes other well working or systems to work properly. And wood dust is one of them. So, got my breathing mask on and we'll get back to it. As long as I stay in this groove, since it's continuous and goes all the way around, I should be fine using sandpaper. Shouldn't have any issue with getting smacked with the wing like that, with the wing coming around. Just got to be mindful of where you're at in relation to the spinny bits. And I don't typically keep a death grip on my sand, or even really a tight grip on my sandpaper or abrasive, whatever the heck it is I'm using. because if it does get pulled out of my hand, and it does happen, I don't want my grip to cause me to get pulled in with it. So the longer you follow this channel, the more often you're actually going to see that happen, where the bracelet catches and gets slipped right out of my hand. But it's by design. That's why I don't put a lot of pressure, and you really don't need to, in my opinion, put a lot of pressure on whatever you're sanding in most cases. So that was 220. I think I will take it to, I got a little bit more work to do there. I think I will take it to 320. How does that look now? Still got a little bit right there. Let's get a new piece. Well, there's two. So just a tiny bit of tear out was right there. I figured I'd just go ahead and adjust it now and then spin the piece up again. But I don't know if you can see this on camera or not. You see the grain kind of crisscrosses and does all kinds of groovy things in there. So I don't particularly hate sanding for one reason or any reason or another. I just want to limit it. I think it is a great opportunity to really be deliberate with it. In most cases, you're not using sandpaper to shape a piece. You're using it to refine the surface. And that I'm going to go with right there. So there's just a little spot right there. And, I'm going to leave it because it's just going to be incongruous. So I'm just going to leave that unsanded. It will be opposite the handle. So for arbitrary reasons, okay, I can definitely spend a little bit more time here before I go to 320. So I want to get the outside finish done as far as I can finish, so that I don't have to go back to it, because the more mass I'm taking away, the more I'm taking away places where I can get a hold on the piece, which is why I set myself up here to have a hold with the chuck. I'll do the same on the other side once I've got the bowl formed, so that I can turn that foot. But you got to keep those things in mind while you're turning. I have myself run into that situation where I've taken too much off, and now all of a sudden I don't have a foot or anything to grab onto. And in those cases, where possible, I've used a glue block. If not possible, I've just made the piece smaller, which can be disappointing sometimes. But it is what it is. You got to learn to work with it. Keep those things in mind. Not necessarily a negative, but could create an inadvertent minor design change. Okay. Now we got, crochet. First time chatter, crochet and a chill 92. Howdy, welcome to the channel. Hopefully the fact that I have a mask on and the compressor running in the background isn't drowning out what I'm trying to say. You have some amazing work. I used to do a lot of woodwork stuff back when I was in high school. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't get to pursue it because I was female. Yeah, you know, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's kind of a, when I was an electronic technician, I saw the same thing. There were fewer women doing that job, which I thought was a really real shame because there are a lot of really intelligent women out there. And it's just a weird artifact, I suppose, that we're still dealing with. That's a bummer. Welcome to the channel. Raging Striker Gaming. Nothing wrong with working on wood and being female, right? Yes, sir. Not a damn thing. But, you know, we're not the old boys network either. I know that is a thing, and some of them older fellas don't agree. But you know what? They're not going to be around forever. But I think that, especially the ones that I've met anyway, I've seen a lot of artwork from women turners over the years, and it's, I mean, just amazing stuff. There's no reason why crochet and chill 92 that you couldn't jump into it other than jump back into it other than it is a little bit kind of spendy to get into when you start looking at lathes, or it can be, but you can get a decent lathe that, you know, you start off with smaller stuff, pens, whatever. This lathe I bought, when I bought it, it was $1,500, and now, let's see, that was 2015. So now it's running for just about 3,000. So they've really gone up in, I'm going to say price. I'm not going to confuse value with perceived value with actual price. But it's a very nice mid-range lathe. I haven't really been shopping for lathes myself in a while. I do my best not to be surprised when I look at the prices of things. But the lathe is usually the biggest expense. Did I knock the camera out? No. And you know, our club has a couple, but I wonder if they don't kind of feel the same way with some of the older guys, because they're, I mean, not that I'm trying to, you know, I don't know what's going on in their lives. I don't see them as often at the club meetings. Which is a shame. But you know, like, it could be life things going on. Who knows? I don't know. I just posit that may be an issue. because it is for real. I do know that. But welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. I really enjoy doing this stuff. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. Found out I had a knack for it, fell in love with it, but it's still my therapy. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's definitely the biggest function. I mean, I want to be a known artist. I don't have to be super famous. I want to be the best turner I can be, and I want to teach people. So it means that I kind of got to make a name for myself, I guess, in some ways or another, and get people to recognize that I am an instructor. I'm also, I've been turning for, since about 2015. So whatever that is in dog years, because a lot of the times I would be turning at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, waking up from, bad sleep experience. Let's just call it that. I wonder if I won't. Yeah, I still use this guy. I don't know that I can get this all the way down without it coming off the threads, but we'll find out. I guess I can. So I'm a little bit low there, but I think that will be fine because I'm going to be hollowing this thing out, kind of going backward and forward. So I'm going to move the tailstock back so my handle can swing. But I'm sure it's the same in every profession, even every art. Like, you got to make a name for yourself so people recognize, oh yeah, that guy or that gal or whatever. This is, they're an artist. They do, they may not know exactly what you're working on at the moment. Maybe it's a different medium or something like that, but they would know you're, an artist, and then collectors will appreciate and buy your artwork so that you can have the funds you need to replace tools that you use to engage in your therapy, right? So I'm coming all the way back. I don't know that you can see this. Yeah, you can see it from the side, that ghosting there. So I'm looking at the difference between this ghost and the outer ghost, and I'm going to take the cut straight across the face. The outer ghost, because it's no longer centered, this is no longer the center now. The center is now about out here. This swings way wide out here compared to the other side. Like, it just traces a much larger circle. So I'm just going to cut following that ghost so I get all the way out to the edge of the cut and start my cut. I may actually, we'll see what the grain wants to do. I may actually have to cut into the face to get a really good cut, but we'll find out. What am I? Oh, wow. I don't know. I'm somewhere between 400 and 600 RPM on this lathe. But like I said, it doesn't matter. It's not the lathe speed that makes you a better turner. It's the practice. Yeah, it's a lot low. Or, I'm sorry, I'm too high on this, actually. I thought it was too low. But I'm actually too high. Can I go any further down? I think so. Let's go a little bit further down. So it doesn't really like being cut into the face like that. So we won't. And I'm still too doggone high. How am I hitting that? It doesn't appear to be. Thought I might be hitting this brake bar that goes across the center of this particular banjo. The banjo that comes with this unit, they shifted that off to the side so that you can see there's a little bit of a hump where the rest of the iron goes through to lock down the brake. They resolved that issue because this being in the center, the tool rest can't go all the way through. I can't get any lower than the top of that bar. So I do have a couple of tool rests whose posts are too long for this banjo. All right, so I pretty much got it faced off, I think, but let's true it up all the way across. Not bad. I think I'll do that again, but I'll speed it up just a bit. Now, if you wanted to, this is also another great instance of a negative rate scraper being really super helpful. If you don't have confidence in your tool handling skills enough to make a cut like that, a negative rake scraper will clean that up nicely too. I'm going to take a little bit more off there. I see I've got a bit of a stress crack there, but that's going to be carved away, so I do not care. This is now the center. I can't, okay, so I can't go on the outside of the bowl for this guy. Just taking a quick stock of what the wood might be doing. A lot of this is all going to be carved away. So I think I'll run it another time. You see, I've got a bark inclusion there, but fortunately, it's in the actual where the bowl's at. But I don't know if it doesn't go at an angle and come out, as you can see in the overhead camera right there. So we'll find out. But that would be my bet. Gotta love that. Nice. So, Crochet and Chill 92. If you're still with us, do you have a channel on Twitch that you crochet? I'm not sure. I'm curious. My daughter knits. I don't know if she crochets much. I honestly don't know. Maybe. All right, now I can start working on my bowl on the inside. I'm not going to worry about sanding any of this stuff because all this is going to get carved away. It will get sanded later. I would love to be able to turn it away, but I can't do that because I'll cut out the handle that's going to be right here. And let me think here. Well, let's just go for it. So I want to do this in stages because I've got this now oblong. I should say it's off center. It's not oblong. It's still round. But this circle is now off center. So it's imparting some vibration to the piece as it rotates. And through the lathe, it's small enough that it's not causing a lot, but I don't want to introduce any more than I have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way down the inside surface, say in probably maybe ½ inch, maybe a little bit less, maybe 3/8 inch bits to get down in there and make that wall thickness even all the way through. eyeballing where my bevel is pointed based on the outside surface. As this spins around, I get more view of it. So I'm aligning my bevel for the bowl gouge to move in that direction, because where the bevel is pointed is where it wants to cut towards. Come on, man. And I will kind of feel. So that's still kind of thick. I'm going to open this up a little bit more. I want to adjust this guy a little bit more, because I think I'm still sitting too high. I'm not sure that I'm not. Pretty sure that I'm not making contact with that bar down there, but I'm not getting my handle in what I think is a good direction. So I'm going to take a slightly smaller cut. I am noticing that this is very hard wood. And I need to grab a flashlight, so I will be right back. I need to get light in there. And fortunately, the flashlight is just a few steps away, or at least one of my flashlights anyway. So I need to be able to see in there while I'm turning. So I'll do a little bit of a balancing act here. I don't know. You know what? Hold on a second. I don't know if this light will work. Let's see. Where did it go? I was pretty sure I put you somewhere handy, and of course now you're not handy. Nope, flashlight it is. I don't recall where I moved that guy to, unless it's right back here. Nope. Okay. Well, that was worth a try, worth a look anyway. First tool to jump ship. All right, let's take a look at this. Okay, that's pretty even right there. So we will keep that for now. Now that I'm pretty much at the halfway point, I'm just completing the bowl. Let's take a look at the depth here, because I want the inside of the bottom of the cup to be somewhere right in here, if you were seeing it from the outside. So I have to be mindful of my depth. Don't want to go through it. Oh, shoot, man, I'm there. I'm already there. Cool. So I just need to straighten up the inside a bit. Which I think I will do with, well, I lost that scraper. I'm going to grab my other round nose negative rake scraper. I didn't know that was there. Let's see. Needs a new burr, so let's put this aside first. And we'll put a fresh burr on this negative rake scraper really quick. It's not bad, but now I need to raise up the tool rest so that the burr contacts at less than 90 degrees. And off that edge. Yeah, that's nice. That is very nice. Okay, so there's a bar conclusion there that I'm going to want to fill in. Let's check my wall thicknesses here and double check my depth. That's the center. Okay, so I can go a little bit deeper. I think I will. Just to get a little bit rounder bottom on the inside. Don't need to take much. It's nice to have a good burr on there. You get really nice shavings off that. Take a feel. Okay, got a little bit of a bump, so I'm going to take care of that. Just slowly work that little bump down, little by little. I really should find that light. Got a magnet light that'll sit on this side here, but it's also not the brightest thing on the planet. You know, I'm liking that the way it is. That feels pretty good. Take one more light cut, not that cut. See what's happening there. Huh. Must be catching on that inclusion. Oh, and there's more cracks in there too. All right, so we're going to fill those in. Before we go any further, we got some stress cracks right here. And we will fill that in with some of this bark and some glue. Glad I did not walk that all the way in. All right. Check that guy first. I kind of wonder, I've seen some work done with coffee grounds. I think I may just switch over when I run out of this. I think it does kind of look actually a little bit more like tree bark than this does once the CA glue has been applied. Well, I'm getting a lot in that guy. And you know, for this one, I am going to go grab a glove because I'm going to have my finger all up in that business. I think I got one right behind me. Now we'll give it a little bit of CA glue. Let that soak in. Oh, nope, nope. I need to grab this guy. Nope. Is there more up there? I can't tell. All right. So we'll get the excess glue off there. And I'll add some more sawdust, especially to this guy up here, since that was a deeper hole. Okay. Don't know how much of this I can salvage. We'll find out. Not much. Yeah, it's worth a shot. So hit that again. Is that a crack? No. So actually I need to put a little bit more in that guy right there. Didn't quite get enough sawdust right into these cracks. So it does plasticize the wood, but most of that will be sanded away. It's just what is going to be in those cracks that's going to be left behind. before I hit it with the accelerant, sand a little bit, try to get some of that off the surface before I shoot it with the accelerant. I'm gonna get away with, you know, not having. Let's say I didn't clean this up perfectly. I will get away with that because this is burl, and the color changes and swirls and stuff inside burl change all the time. So it's not easily visible if you have a glue spot in a lot of cases like that. With spalted woods, it gets like that too, which can be really helpful to, you know, bolster your confidence, I suppose. But definitely, the more you practice, the easier this gets. Okay, so I'm going to clean up that inner surface with my negative rake scraper, and I think at this point, well, does it need another burr? I think what it needs is to be brushed off. So I got some dust packed right in behind that burr. So, yep, it needs another trip to the grinder. 'Tis no trouble at all. Just to give myself the best surface I can get before I might need to, if I might need to, apply any abrasive to that surface. I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. I'm not really taking much out. I just want to get the you know, the lumps of sawdust out so that it's still a smooth surface. I really like how this grain comes right up over the edge there, so I'm not going to maintain or create an outer edge to give it any kind of definition. I like the way it flows right through. So just a really light touch. The burr on a scraper doesn't really care what, most of the time, doesn't really care what direction the grain is going, so you can still get phenomenal shavings. And it can still cut very well. I'm just getting rid of the last bit of the glue stain. There we go. That's gone. And now, as far as I'm concerned, that's a finished inside surface. If I can get this nub out of here. Just kind of shave it off. There we go. Had to sneak underneath it and shave it off a bit. Beautiful. I'm liking it. All right, cool. So now comes the interesting part of flipping this bad boy around. Let's see. Hi, Dave. NWM Marv. Well, hey, Marv. Lots of ladies doing wood turning, and they are doing very nice work. Yes, sir. Marv, what I did to fill the void was I have some ground up inner bark that I ground up with a coffee grinder a few years ago, and I've been slowly working through my meager stash, but I take that bark. Coffee grounds actually, I think, look a little bit better. I've seen the coffee grounds used instead, and just grind it in there and glue it down. I used a thin CA glue and then an accelerant, and now my inner surface is pretty smooth. I hit it with a negative rake scraper. I don't think I'm going to do any more than that. Let me see this guy. Hold on a second. I am going to, though, do something about this surface. So I will grab this scraper. So I have a negative rake scraper here, but it's very, very slightly radius. I mean, I haven't measured it. You know, it's just a couple of degrees. This is the high point, and the low points are on the sides. So I can get right up to the surface, and I can, slowly rock the tool if I need fresh burr, and not change how where it's cutting. So if I'm using, this half, I can then rotate the tool a little bit. Now I'm using the half that's in the middle, and then I can go over to this side and use the half that's over there. Plus, I don't dig my points in when I'm scraping, creating more tool marks to clean up. It was just a very, very light touch. Just wanted to clean that up. You see that it's very, very, very thin shavings. They just crumble away to nothing. So let's take a look at that surface. Oh yeah, I'm liking that surface. Very nice. All right, I feel like I got to do just a touch of work right here. Actually, I think I can even see it. So I'm going to rotate my tool up on its side so I'm contacting only the burr. Just a really light touch to get a very sheer scrape right around that corner to clean that up. That'll work for me. I like that. So now I don't have to, and it's very, very clean. So now I don't have to worry about using any kind of abrasive. Although now I see a line that, well, no, is that? Nope, that's a grain line, so I'm not going to try to chase that. Never mind. So I don't have to sand any of this if I don't want to, and I may not. So now I got to turn this dude around and get that cut off. Let's take this out of the lathe. Do I want to keep that? No. Before I do that, let's mark it just in case. That's 4, so we'll mark it right there. Whoops. Audio still coming across all right? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're welcome, Marv. Marv says, great, thanks. You're welcome. So I did the same thing on the outside on these two bark inclusions. This was stress cracks, so they may have come about by that bark inclusion being in there. No, I'm sorry. I'm incorrect. I'm misremembering. The stress cracks through the timber went through there and showed up on the inside here. So I just filled those in with the bark too, and now they look like bark inclusions, which works for me. And then this one obviously went all the way through here. It showed up like right about here on the surface, and I kind of figured it would go that way, and it did. All right, so what I want to do now, let's put that. So I made my mark for my number 1 and 4 jaws on this guy. So I'm going to turn that away. And I'm going to bring up the tailstock because I don't want to put too much pressure on the inside of this piece. So I don't want to mark up the inside. Before I do that, though, I should get rid of some tools because they're in the way. And I didn't even have to break out the compass this time. That's cool. I brought it over there. I didn't need it. Okay, tailstock time. And I have to make that decision on what I want the bottom to be like. I think what I'll do is instead of making, oh, you know what? Before I do this, let's be smart and double check our depth. So that's 2 and 3. This is 1 and 4. I need to be sure where my bottom is from the outside. That's a respectable Kuksa cup right there. That would work just fine. So using the magic pencil, it tells me that my bottom is right there. So we're going to swap it around. We're going to look somewhere else with some light anyway. And that tells me it's right there. Look like they're very close to each other. Number 4 goes up here. And I'll scribe those lines and see if they match up. That one was a little deeper. So I'm going to err on the side of the less shallow one. And I'm going to use that as an opportunity to make a slightly cupped bottom, not actually make a foot, but just a slightly cupped bottom, so when I do set it down, it'll sit. That's my theory anyway. Well, we don't need it. There we go. And then all that's left to do will be the carving. Cutting and the carving. Now that's too tall. And that's too short. Let's put it right there. Yay, it's running through. And my tailstock are loosening up a bit. So, Raging Striker, how's the Halley monster, man? Alrighty then. Let's see. Let's remove this guy. Tailstock out of the way. See, the music stopped playing. That's lovely. Can never get that thing to run right. I don't understand it. Although it's an online service that is playing online while I'm streaming online, so I don't know what that might have to do with it. Yeah, I'll keep that one. What the heck? Another little nubbin for the grandiose resin project. I'm keeping all my nubbins, all the little tendons and stuff, and some cutoffs depending on, you know, if they're burl wood or whatever. If they're burl wood, I'll keep the cutoffs too. And I'm going to make a resin mold out of all of them together. I don't know what I'm going to turn yet, but the idea is I'm going to make a big resin mold or several. Might do. Check, make sure I'm slightly concave. Nice. And it's going to sit on that little rim there. So I can finish this part off. Very cool. Whoops. Sorry. I put the mask back on. Don't want to forget that. I never got above 600 on this whole project. 600 RPM, I mean. So hopefully you take that as an example that you don't have to turn at super high speed. Yes, you can turn at slower speeds. You just have to slow yourself down. Slow down the tool travel. She'll only be moving as fast as the tool can cut. There we go. And there's that little, that's funny, man. Just this little goatee looking thing. It's just enough that if I think tried to sand it off, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll just take it all the way off. It's not as deep as I thought. I thought that would be a larger feature, and unfortunately it's not, so we'll just remove it. Cleaning up any sanding marks because, well, first I need to sand the bottom of this guy, and then I'm going to go to 320 to do the final finish sanding. So let's do that really quick. Grab the handy dandy engraver. Let's see, how about right there. All right, now on to 320. At least on the parts that matter anyway. A lot of that rim is going to be cut away. And actually, let's see, how are we doing on time? 10 o'clock. You know, I think I'll cut it while we're streaming, man. I'll grab my little body saw. Let's get this guy out of the way. And yeah, we'll just cut a lot of the, we'll go through the whole, you know, I mean, I'll continue the process, show you how I'm going to draw it out. We'll cut those lines. And yeah, 320 is as far as I'm going to go with this guy. I don't think I need to go any further. To be honest, that's usually where I wind up anyway. Most of my stuff is 320. I do go to 400, but rarely above that. Okay, I'm going to give the dust a few minutes to settle. You see, let's grab this piece of 320. That's still there. Interesting. So it was a little deeper than I thought. Still not sure I got it. And if I finish this in my wax, well, that's really not going to matter. Yeah, I think I'll finish it in the wax. All right, just a little bit of time to let the dust settle a little. Let's get the body saw out while we're waiting. And it's just an everyday, ordinary auto body saw that I use, air driven. Ooh, and I can take off the mask now. But I'm looking for my tool oil. There it is. Okay. Oh, and I think I'll get a chance. Yeah, maybe I will. I think I'll pull out my mahogany carving stand so I can get all the way around this dude. Get this guy ready to go. Got an air bubble. There we go. Couple of drops of Earl. Set that aside for a sec. Okay. So now, yeah, it sits nicely too, even with all that weight. So with just the handle, it'll be lovely. Let's draw this out. So we'll say that that is, I will put the handle right there. And I think I will flare it out a little bit. Now I got to match that line over here. Went in too far. And flare it out a little bit. Then I'll catch that lighter wood right there in all these nice little swirlies. So let's try to get that a little bit better. Okay, let's see. Can I use mahogany stand with this? Oh, maybe. Maybe I can. Let me take this off first. I think I can do it with this guy. Nope. I have to do it by hand, I think. Well, let me try the pin jaws. Pin jaws might do it, maybe. Let's take a gander and see. I don't know if this will open wide enough. I'm hoping it does. Yeah, that's going to be way too close. How about if I do it this way? Because I just need to hold on to it strong enough to, be able to withstand the saw. I don't need a super tight grip on it. I just need to hold it in place so it doesn't move and give me room. Am I going the wrong way? Nope. Bummer. I was hoping that would work. Okay, that one's not going to work. Give me room to get my saw around the chuck. I may not get that. I may have to do this by hand, or hold on to this piece while I cut it. That is a possibility. I don't think that's going to go any smaller either. It's close, but that's not going to work. Oh, what am I doing? Jeez. All right, so I'm going to cut this off. I'm not going to use my my mahogany carving stand instead. Oh, bend those knees. I'm going to create a jam chuck, and we'll hold on to it that way. I think I had a nice piece here that might work. It might work. Is that that's the only one? Okay, yep, it'll do. Oh, yoicks and away. The knees, they are stiff today. You are not round anymore. Need to fix that too. Do we? Do we? If I was to use this guy, then I'd be really far out of there. Okay. So we're going to try it this way. And hopefully with these dovetail jaws, I can really dig in there. Yep, looks that way. Although it's no longer straight. There we go. You're making a jam chuck, Dave. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Let's make that guy. Oh yes, I can get rid of this. Put that aside. Move him over there. Oh, no, I don't need that. Drop my tool rest a bit. So this is softer wood than the maple. Okay. Well, I say that, and you know what? That's actually maple. It's not softer. Ha! See how that works. That'll work. That's all I need. Okay, cool. So I'll bring up the tailstock. Let me grab another small piece of wood here. Not from there. Oh, we can go to this bucket that has all of the cutoffs. That won't work. Yeah, that won't work fine. Yeah, there we go. That'll do. So I want to have the support of the tailstock, but I don't want to mark up the bottom of my bowl here, my cup. So I'm going to use a piece of wood. It's already got a center. It's one of the nubs I cut off previously. This should be a lot softer than the burl. We'll see. Try not to make any marks, but I don't need to. I mean, I'm not going to spin this and cut it that way. That's not I mean, under power, I'm not going to spin it. I will spin it by hand. Just need that to hold it in place so I can spin it. Whoops. Did that leave a mark? Yes, it did. Groovy. And that, I don't want that to spin. So I want enough pressure that won't spin against the chuck. I'm not going to have it powered. I just wanted to spin it around. So now I'm going to draw my lines. I know that I pretty much want to come up into here. So I'm going to cut straight down and I will carve that bulbous part out another way. Let's see, I want to have this go down this way. And then I'm going to draw my line by spinning this guy. So that's my cut line. These are all my cut lines, so I'm going to cut those out now. And the air compressor will kick on and off and all that groovy stuff while I'm cutting. So hopefully you will still be able to hear me talk. I will do my best. But we're just going to take this guy and cut all the way through there. I like using this little automotive saw because it makes the job most of the time a lot easier. Oh no, I can't use this. Ah, gloom and despair. I have to replace this connector to one that fits this. That is a bummer. Let's see. Where do I have? I can do a quick change. I will do it here. Let's double check that I did not buy any more of those. Did I buy any more of those? I did not. Okay. Then we will swap it from this guy. And I'll be able to use the saw. I forgot about that. All right, put this guy on the sander so it doesn't get clogged up. This guy on the saw. All right, now we're in business. Oh, I was wondering if the tailstock would get in the way. Of course, this saw does like the this trouble. It also could be that I'm running ahead of my air compressor. There we go. You see it burns some of the wood cutting it, but that'll all get carved away. It's also a pretty good thickness of wood in spots. I'm gonna wait for the compressor to catch up a little bit. Definitely save that piece of burl for the resin project. Let's see, I should grab some paper towel. Not that one, that's full of glue. And wipe down some of this oil that's coming out of here. So once this catches up, hopefully we'll be able just to cut all the way through. We'll see. Can't get rid of these though. So, you know, you can do this with a handsaw, whatever. You could, actually, I could use my Craftsman cutoff saw if I really wanted to. Hey, man. You know what? Let's give that a try. We know this is working. It's just taking some time. Let's give that a try. Why the heck not? So let's grab a blade, because I just got to get rid of this mass. I don't need to. This is not like, you know, super artistic cutting or whatever. I'm getting rid of the mass, as much of the mass as possible, so that I can actually carve what I want to carve. Let's try this guy. Well, it's definitely smoking the wood, that's for sure. I'm just trying to follow this pencil line to make it easier for the airsoft to finish the job. Hey, that's kind of loud. Well, that was interesting. That was a neat little experiment. I know they make other different kinds of cutters. This is the only one that I have, the only style at the moment. But hey, man, it definitely is going to speed things up a bit. Mostly because I don't have that thickness to work for you anymore, except for right there. Last time I ran this saw, I had my 120-pound tank and it ran great. It's not doing so well with this 80-pound tank. Doing a job, but it's struggling. Sorry, I'm not talking much. I'm trying to concentrate here. Just kind of working through the fingers. The further I get, the more I'm glad I use that other tool to score these lines. Let the compressor catch up for a second, minute, however long it takes. Definitely burning the wood. Almost there. on now. You can thread that needle. There we go. I'm going to say that was mostly easier than cutting all that away by hand. With a handsaw or hacksaw or whatever. Let's see, let's swap these guys back out again because I don't know when I'm going to use the saw again. Whoops, that's got to get put away in the same drawer. And hooray, the compressor is quieted down a bit. I wonder if these will work. Well, we're going to find out. Let's see, where'd I put the oil again? Oil behind me. That's right. Put it close by. All right, so we're going to use this little grinder to clean up some of that. In theory, I don't know that this grinder will work very well, or rather this bit will work very well. It's Russian made, not really great quality. But hopefully it's got enough bite to clean. Oh, of course I can't use this either. I'm not going to swap out another. I just need to go to the store and get the fittings that I need. So let's see. Let's grab this guy. This will work nicely. Japanese rasp. Oops, that's right. We're still in a jam chuck. All right, so I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Dremel tool to this. I just wanted to get you a good idea of the planning behind this and the turning of it. It doesn't matter what tools you use. If you're comfortable with them, you should turn with them. And the more you practice with them, the better you'll get with them. And in theory, anyway, my theory, the more confident you'll be trying a different new tool to you. I think the more you have in your skill bag that you can pull from when you're turning, the better off you are. So that's more or less roughed out. I'm going to do the finer carving with the Dremel. Get this rim all nicely cleaned up. It won't be that pronounced. Or will it? Ooh, man, that is a really good question. Except there's no way I can do anything about that now. So I will clean up this rim, make it, yeah, that's a decent size Kuksa cup, round all this stuff off. And in theory, have it ready to show off next week. Very, very cool. So that was a lot of fun. I hope that you picked up at least one or two tidbits along the way to help you in your own exploration of the turning world. As always, this is live and interactive, and if you've been watching the chat, you can see that there have been some questions, and I do pay attention to chat, do my best to answer the questions. If you have any now would be a great time. I'm not going to turn anymore. I'm at a really good stopping point for this. It's just all the carving is next, and then that minor sanding of that carved edge. I think I'll just round it off nicely. This is a very nice cup. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it. I will probably, yeah, I'm not sure. I may actually dip it in hot wax. That's a good possibility. Hot beeswax. Maybe heat these up in the oven into 250 degrees, well below the char or smoke point of wood, but get it warm enough that the pores open up, such as they are, and they will accept some of that beeswax into the wood. So I think I'll do it that way, but the carving's got to get done first. NWM Marv says, great job, Dave. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's go to this camera here, and we'll get rid of this light. And I also hope, too, that if you enjoyed what you saw, hopefully you learned, I was able to show you something that maybe you picked up, you learned, maybe something new, maybe it's a repeat, something you haven't done in a while and forgotten about it. But I do appreciate you joining me. I do my best to answer all the questions and comments and stuff that show up in chat. And I really do appreciate comments in chat. The more comments that I have, the better it is for the metrics or the, whatever the algorithm does. They look for like so many unique chatters, I think is the term that they use. So yeah. Anyway, we'll get this back at some point. More than likely, I'm not sure if it'll be Tuesday or Wednesday, but this should be ready by then. I'll show you the finished little bit, but I think that is a beautiful size for a Kuksa cup. Fairly easy to turn on the lathe. You could also carve it by hand if you want. But if you're a lathe turner like me, why? I may someday do that. I don't really have a lot of hand carving tools. I've got a few, but I mostly use them when I'm working on the lathe, and I don't necessarily do it under power, but I'll have the piece between centers in a chuck or whatever, and I'll be making designs with it, stuff like that, shaving off, evening up spots, shaving off others. Anyway, no different than just hand carving everything, but I like to turn as much as I can on the lathe, and when you can turn the whole thing, that makes it even better. And this is close to instant gratification. It's close. It's not done, but I can see this is definitely on its way. And I really once this gets dipped, that grain's really going to pop. But I really like how it flows right over the edge there. It's a nice little piece. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I think we got 10 minutes left. I don't see anything new in chat, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the evening. I'll be back again tomorrow night, 8 to 11. I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday night from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope that you can make it back soon. I hope that you enjoy the channel enough to follow it. That also helps the algorithm and the metrics to get, the more people are subscribed, the more the algorithms, I guess, say, oh, there's an interest in this channel. We should get it out in front of more people. So I appreciate that help as well. Thank you very much. My name again is Dave. I'm a woodturner. I really enjoy this stuff. This is my therapy. But, you know, it's also quickly becoming, at least in my head anyway, I hope, a way to support myself as well. So my therapy will be also my support. Can't beat that, man. I'm be one of the few people, I guess, or one of the not many, who can say that they really truly do what they love. And I really do enjoy this, and I really appreciate your company along the way. So I hope you stay friendly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope to see you again real soon, tomorrow night, 8 to 11, or next Tuesday or Wednesday, 8 to 11. But as I said, every Tuesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you back. Take care, folks. Thanks for joining me.